Money. We all need it, some more than others, some not so much. But no matter whether you're a bull or a bear, managing your capital is essential to your fiscal future. Furthermore, if you're a company, finding value in your operation, maximizing company exposure to current and potential investors is the difference between being in the black and, frankly, being out of business. New York-based Proactive Capital Group, PCG, has a network of resources that hunts for and creates value in the small and microcap space. We will now put that space on our radar here on New to the Street. Jeff Ramson has more than a quarter century of experience working in finance and has a reputation for innovation. He is CEO of Proactive Capital Group and is making his very first appearance here with us on New to the Street. Jeff, thank you very much for joining us here on the program.
Thank you, Ken.
Let's dive right in, Jeff. Let's get to it. PCG is an investor relations capital markets advisory firm. For our viewers that are not familiar with that, give us the history of the company, how it came to fruition, and how you got involved.
Sure. So I started the company in 2008 after about 20 some odd years on Wall Street, mostly as an investor, and then as an entrepreneur. I built a financial services firm that was fairly successful. But in 2008, there was a confluence of events that got me very interested in this space. As you know, there was a financial crisis and a meltdown in stock value and liquidity levels. And I sensed there was going to be a shift in how small companies in particular were going to reach out and create investor awareness and investor connectivity. At the same time, through some fortuitous events, I was introduced to the concept of social media, which back in 2008 was very novel. There was really nobody using it from a business perspective at that time. I kind of thought that the two ingredients together led to a very big opportunity. And I sensed that that was an opportunity worth pursuing. And that's why I started Proactive Capital Group originally.
What was it internally that made you say, I've got to start this company. I must take advantage now and strike while the iron is hot?
It's a great question. I felt that, I really did feel that the world was changing. And with the way I looked at social media was that, forget about just business, but in general, and it's certainly proven to be true, the way people communicate and the way the transparency that has been created by the social media outlets, I felt would be a major shift for companies in how they communicate. So I felt it had to be done then, and I also felt I wanted to be early and innovative in that space.
How does Proactive differ from other players in the space? And at the same time, once we're done with that, talk to us and the viewers about that particular space, because a lot of people are not familiar with it. Sure. They hear the term investment capital, and people have different perceptions of what that means.
Sure. Well, one thing I just want to make sure I'm clear about is we are far more than just a social media investor relations firm. That was the original initiative when I started the company, but it's grown quite a bit. And we are now a full-service investor relations, public relations, and social media strategies firm. So in terms of how we differ, number one, I think that we're one of the few firms, if not the only firm, that integrates in a variety of services around traditional as well as what we would, let's say, call new or innovative social media techniques. So I think that integration makes us very different. Aside from that, I certainly think that the biggest differentiator for us from other firms is our people. I think I put together the best team on the street in terms of the level of professionalism, dedication, and work ethic to represent our clients.
Now, we know social media is vital in our everyday lives, both personally and professionally. Mm-hmm. How does PCG integrate social media within their structure and make it more user-friendly for the average person looking to park their money in anything?
Well, the first thing is when we use social media for our clients, one thing we encourage them to do is not to look at social media as a stock promotion tool. We look at it as more of a we're interested in creating stakeholder awareness for our clients, not just shareholder awareness. And what I mean by that is most of our clients are doing something very innovative, very exciting, but they're relatively unknown. So there's many stakeholders out there that don't know these companies yet, but would like to. So our view is build a community, grow that community, share information with that community in a way that's contributing to the conversation. From that, I believe you get good corporate branding, certainly corporate goodwill, and from that you create a better atmosphere in which to share your other corporate messages.
Social media is fantastic. I mean, I remember, I'm old enough, as are a lot of other people, to know when there was no social media, and it's changing second by second, day by day. How are you guys able to keep up with the changes that go on 24/7? I mean, it's crazy what goes on with social media. It influences everything. Some can argue if it's not used in the right way, social media can quickly become antisocial. and that can cause problems with no matter what you're doing.
That's right. I think it's critical to have young people working on our social media team, which we do. You know, I'm of the age where social media to me is not my first language, so it's an effort. You know, for me, I look at it from the point of view of overall marketing and messaging, but the reality is you need young people that are in that conversation daily to keep us abreast of what's happening, where things are changing, and where people are going.
How do you integrate between young and old and mesh everybody together to get everybody to use social media?
That's a good question. So again, young people, are more, you know, to me, are very vital in terms of where to go and where they're paying attention and what they like to see and how they want the message delivered. People of a certain age who may have a little bit more wisdom or experience are more adept at creating the types of messaging that needs to be.
They fear change.
A lot of them fear change.
They fear adapting to what's happening for the future.
Correct.
And it's tough to bring in young and old and make everybody use social media. It's
certainly a challenge.
Now, as the CEO of an investor relations firm, Jeff, what is your biggest challenge right now?
Well, there's a few. So certainly, I would say the biggest challenge overall is expectations of clients and of investors. And you know, the best situations for us are when clients have realistic expectations on what it takes to build, you know, awareness for their company. And most of them are under-resourced, whether it be human resources, financial resources, logistical, you know, difficulties in terms of, you know, getting out and meeting investors. So there's got to be some realistic expectation, and that's always difficult to manage. I think also when it comes to the social media part of it, one of our biggest challenges is how do we get messages out but be compliant? Because there's SEC regulation, there's FDA regulation. If we're dealing in the biotech space, there's always multiple regulatory bodies that are watching our clients. So those are also very big challenges.
Now, also staying on what you guys do, you talked about the challenges that PCG has. What is your greatest joy out of being in this business?
So the greatest joy is when things do come together, when companies hit on their milestones or execute well, and investors are prepared for that, and it reflects in the value of the stock and in the volatility, the volume of the stock. So that to me is ultimately when we know the message that the company's trying to get out there reaches the right people, things occur, and it reflects in the capital markets.
What do you see going forward a year and beyond for PCG?
Well, for PCG, I think we're looking to grow in many verticals. I look at us as always trying to be a step ahead. I do not want to become what I saw in 2008, which was, I felt, some older investor relations firms that models had been kind of outdated. So I think it's very important to keep thinking of what's next versus maintaining. So I think it's very important that we listen to our clients and their needs, and also listen to our investor audience and see what they're looking for. So I do think I do think that social media becomes bigger and bigger, and more firms get deeper and deeper into it.
Well, it sounds like if you're looking to grow your business and get noticed by the right people, PCG is there to make that professional, positive connection.
Correct. That's our job.
Please come back to us on New to the Street and give us an update on what's going on at PCG.
Certainly I will. Thank you.
If you want to learn more about Jeff and Proactive Capital Group, you can visit pcgadvisory.com or newtothestreet.com. We're back after this.
Okay.
Sit down.
No, it's good.